Hello everyone, my name is Hanieh Madanirad. I'm glad to have the chance to talk with you about my experience as an international graduate student at Texas Woman University. We will talk about immigration, TWU's standpoint on diversity and inclusion, and making artworks related to immigration. Immigration is a foundation of America. In fact, no other nation has a large and immigrant population as does the United States. But even though we are a nation of immigrants, immigration remains one of the most fraught social and political issues of modern times. Who can enter in this country? Who can work here? Who can create a family here? And who can become Americans? These are all questions that continue to rule our policies. And yet, most Americans would agree on the basic fact that immigration is a good and necessary for the continuing growth of Americans' economy and society. The steady stream of people coming to America has had a profound impact on the Americans' characters. It takes courage and openness to change, to decide to leave your homeland and come to a new country. Maybe that is part of the reason why American people are known for their willing to take risks and try new things. So, what is TWU's point of view about immigration and diversity in general? TWU is committed to creating a safe and welcoming environment for students who diverse backgrounds. In fact, as immigrants um, who seeking for a university to continue my study, I was very concerned about each university's approach toward multicultural diversity and individual uniqueness. I talked with a couple of international friends who studied at Texas Woman University, and they assumed me that TWU is very welcoming to international and individual of diverse background. Fortunately, my experience at Texas Woman University completely satisfied me and my experiences. From the very first day, I realized that TWU is so welcoming to international students and puts no differences between US citizens and internationals. At the Department of Visual Art, students and faculties deeply value each other's identity, collaborate in a friendly relationship, and care about each other's work and thoughts. In addition, Texas Woman University cares a lot about social justice. Specifically, at the Department of Visual Art, there are student and faculty members who actively work on this subject. I personally work on women's rights and immigration, and I am thrilled to be in a university that values women and immigrants and their roles in society. Living abroad can be thrilling experience that encourage new world views and culture curiously. Culture shock is more than simply being unfamiliar with social norms or experiencing new foods. In fact, intend to impact immigrants even after they've become familiar with um, and and comfortable in new culture. Culture shock generally moves throughout four different phases. The first stage is known as the honeymoon stage. It is often filled with positive feeling of getting involved with the new language, people, and food. At this stage, immigration may seem like the greatest decision ever made. At the second stage, that known as the frustration state, the fatigue of not understanding gesture, signs, and the language set, and miscommunication happen frequently. Small things such as not being able to easily order food in a restaurant may trigger frustration. At the adjustment stage, immigrants being to feel familiar and comfortable with the cultures, people, food, and language of new environments. Navigation becomes easier. Friends and communities of support are established, and details of local languages become more recognizable. The last stage is acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean that new culture and environment are completely understood. In fact, at this stage, immigration realized that complete understanding isn't necessary to function and thrive in the new surrounding. During the acceptance stage, immigrants have to familiarity and can draw together the resources they need to feel at ease. But is it this easy for everyone? Is it? Unfortunately, not. Many immigrants stay at the frustration stage for years. If that happens, immigrants become homesick and will feel depressed. Thanks to help of my good friends at Texas Woman University and elsewhere, this didn't happen to me. My point is United States citizens can help immigrants reach the acceptance stage. So if you feel you value diversity, you better make friendship with those who have recently immigrated and help them adjust faster. Dan Bijar, is the artist that the artwork that you see on the left is from him. He is a conceptual illustration and artist living and working in Brooklyn, New York. He addresses challenging social and political issues of our time. His works were published by the New York Times Magazine and the Washington Post. Welcome to America is the title of a piece he designed for the Northwestern magazine in response to former President Trump's executive order that banned people from 7 Muslim countries, including Iran, where I come from entering the United States. According to Dan, this work is about how the university's international office help waves its international student into the fabric of the university and how to navigate Trump's executive. The artwork on the right is from Niku Abbasi. She is an Iranian artist, has done a lot of works related to immigration issues. Chats and Ladders is the title of her work shown here. If you played Chats and Ladders as a kid, you probably recall the frustration. There you are, just a few square away from winning it all, when the wrong roll of the dice sends you to the first place. To convey immigrants' frustrations of getting ahead only to fall back, Abbasi designed a children's board game with squares that read DACA, asylum, work visa, and fees. According to her, the message is this: let's have greatest compassion for immigrants and refugees doing their best to navigate what seems like an impossible system. Now let me walk you through the process that I have used to create an artwork. The first step always is to come up with the idea. Write down some keywords for yourself. Think of the colors that fit the message you want to convey and decide which medium you want to use. I decided to use Procreate via the iPad. Of course, you can use other software such as Photoshop or Illustrator, or you may wanna draw in by hand. If you decided to use a software, the next step is to define and sketch the basic layers, and after you add some details, use color palette to bring life to it. Afterwards, you want to add more details to your sketch and remove extra layers. These days, motion graphic is becoming more and more popular, so you can give motion to your work if you want. This can be done through the timeline feature of Procreate app. The version of my work that you see today does not include motion graphic. Finally, when you are done, export your work as a JPEG or MP4 as whatever you want, and the process is in similar in other apps. If you feel like you want to learn more about arts and creating artworks, here are short list of some of classes at Texas Woman University that can greatly help you. You can check for more on Texas Woman University website. I want to thank Texas Woman University and the Department of Visual Art for giving me this opportunity to talk about my experience. And I also want to thank them for understanding diversity, showing companionship, and helping me through my immigration. Finally, I want you to recall what important role you can have in promoting diversity and consider how fruitful your support can be for the immigrants and the nation as a whole. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Have a good one.